Welcome to video 4 of our Introduction to Note-Taking workshop video series. If you haven't done so already, you may want to locate, download, and print the PDF entitled Introduction to Note-Taking Workshop Handout so you can follow along with this workshop a little bit better. In this video, we're going to go ahead and begin by talking about our third and final note-taking method, the outline Cornell Hybrid method. This outline Cornell Hybrid method actually just combines the main features of both the outline method and the Cornell method. So instead of writing your notes in sentence format within a note-taking column, you actually just write the notes in an even more abbreviated outline style. This is the example that you'll find on page 6 of your handout. And this is an example of the outline Cornell Hybrid method. As you can see, the individual attending this peanut butter and jelly sandwich lecture sets up the piece of paper just like they were doing the Cornell method. But within section 2, the main body of the notes section on the right-hand side of the paper, they actually utilize the entire outline method of note-taking. And then from there, they utilize the other pieces of the Cornell method to their advantage. You can see that they've summarized the entire page of notes at the bottom. And on the left-hand side, where normally would be the cue or recall column, they're still writing out the questions to help them memorize and retain the information within section 2, or in this case, the outline method. This is an outstanding way for you to get used to using the Cornell method if you've never done it before and you've only ever been used to using the outline method. This is absolutely what I recommend to get better at the Cornell method. Start by drawing out your piece of paper, preparing to take notes with the offset eye or the off-center eye, putting everything in the title section, such as what class you're listening to a lecture on or you're reading your textbook in, what the subject matter is of the lecture, or the subject matter of the section of book, the date you're taking the notes, all up in that section. And then utilize the outline method in section 2. When finished, utilize the left-hand side of the page, section 3, to still write out those questions to help you memorize and retain that information from section 2. And of course, at the bottom, summarize everything in your own words so that you can remember what is all on that page. So once you have completed your note-taking, how do you study your notes? Well, the 5 R's of note-taking was developed by Walter Pock, the same individual that came up with the Cornell note-taking method. These 5 R's of note-taking start with the first R, record. During your lecture or recording session, write down all your meaningful information. Well, if you've taken notes, you've already taken care of that step right there. The second R, reduce. After your lecture is complete or your reading of your textbook is complete, summarize your page of notes and write down questions, keywords, and keywords. If you use the outline method, this will be an extra step for you. If you've already incorporated the Cornell note-taking method, again, this has already been completed for you within the method. The third R, recite. Without looking at your notes, answer those questions from your cue or recall column and recite all the information from the section 2 of a Cornell note-taking method. The fourth R, reflect. Think about your own opinions and ideas about the material within your notes. Do you have any questions? Do you have any original ideas upon that information? Write those down as well. And finally, the fifth R, review. Great tip on studying your notes. Before moving on to a new section, a new lecture, look back at your previous notes pages that you created before and review them. Every week, spend at least 10 minutes rereading your previous notes before moving on to a new section. This repetition will help that information soak into your long-term memory much better. Another great way of studying your notes is to spend time studying your notes in a group setting, preferably with classmates from your own class, learning the same material you are at the same time. When doing so, it is recommended that you study with at least 3 or more people at the same time. If you're unable to get together in person with your classmates or a study group, say if you have an online class, you can still utilize online technology like WebEx or Zoom or FaceTime even to get together with other individuals from afar. When you get together with other people studying your notes, compare and contrast your lecture notes or textbook reading notes with your study group. This gives other perspectives on the same material, points out details you may have missed that you can capture from other people's notes, and gives you the opportunity to show other people what you may have captured and they didn't. When you get together in a group, take your questions, perhaps from your Cornell note-taking method, and put them all together to form possible exam questions from your notes, and use those questions to test yourself in preparation for exams. One of the absolute best ways of studying your notes is to think of how you would teach someone the material you find in your notes. Imagine for a moment you had to teach the information in your notes to both a 7-year-old and a 70-year-old. How would you explain that material in terms each one of them could understand? And what questions do you think each one of them might have for you? This thought experiment, this thought process, truly helps solidify the information in your mind, since you probably have to come up with drastically different ways of explaining the same information. That's all for our Introduction to Note-Taking workshop video series. On behalf of everyone from the Star Center on Lone Star College Montgomery campus, we hope you learned a lot, and we hope you enjoyed watching.